Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're checking back in with Kotobukiya's Megalomaria Unlimited Universe series here with the Penetrator. Really cool looking design out in this series. If you guys have not seen any of my past videos covering other kits from this series, I really enjoy it a lot. This one is going to be really similar to some of the past kits that we have taken a look at in terms of like the main body. Basically, what's going to be mostly different about this one is that it's got a different color scheme, some different weapon options, and some different option parts for around on the head. I think it's got the new visor part, and so there's going to be a couple new things about this one. But overall, I'm expecting to be pretty similar to like what we've seen in the past, but I really like this new version. Here, this one does look really cool. I guess not super new. It has been out for a little while now. I'm a little bit behind, but this one I definitely have been looking forward to, so let's go ahead and get into it for today's video. All right, so we'll take a quick look around the box here before we crack into the kit, but usual box art style here on the front with just some small titling at the top and bottom and kind of simple background with just a simple character illustration. But it does look really cool there with the Penetrator. You can see the eye kind of through the visor there, and you can see she's got the knife weapon and rifle weapon. The rifle is going to be from an MSG option set, I believe. And you can see how the clear purple knife part's plugged into the triple jointed wrist part, which is really cool. So it looks awesome as always. The ends of the box just kind of feature the same artwork there, but vertical design here on the side of the box where we have images of the built kit. You can see there in a few different poses showing off the amazing articulation that we have with this. And of course, customizability with the hard points and options, all the parts that you can kind of swap and take advantage of those 3mm hard points around in different spots on the kit for customization. And then like I just mentioned a moment ago, the triple jointed wrist action there. On the other side of the box, we just got an image here showing a little bit about the kit in a pretty cool pose there. It'd be really difficult to do a pose like that with any other kit other than these ones here in this line, so that's pretty awesome. Let's go ahead, open it up, and check out our contents inside. So we'll take a look through the runners here in just a moment. Let's start off with just our instruction manual, which once again is in like the very long format. It's very tall. With there on the front, just having the same box art, on the back side having a couple of nice reference images of the kit front and back with our paint guide down here at the bottom. So you can use that for painting. Just, it is going to look pretty close to that straight out of the box. It's going to look pretty much exactly like that, I would venture to say. We'll find out here in a moment. But on the inside here is our parts list, which is in full color. And actually this is actually kind of like a separate whole sheet here. You can see there are going to be a couple of parts that are going to not be used, it looks like, maybe with those ones. The rest of the instructions here is going to be pretty standard black and white instructions for the rest of the construction of the kit, which again, for the majority of the body of it is all going to be the same. But all right, let's get into the runners here. We've got a polycap runner in a very dark brown for just a few polycaps on there. And in that same dark brown, we've got our hand option parts here on our hand tree as usual in this like softer type plastic. Runners A and B are going to be a bunch of the parts for the main kind of armor slash body of the kit in this dark green color. Runner C once again going to be in that very dark reddish brown color there. Runner D we have two of, although it's not two of the same runner, it's just they're both labeled runner D, unfortunately, although they are numbered in sequence. This is D parts 1 through 7. This is 8 through 13, it looks like on there, here in this lighter gray color. Runners E and F here, some more parts in that dark reddish brown. Runner G is a couple more parts there in light gray. Then we're skipping to runner I, which has a few more parts here in that dark green, including the part there for just like the regular knife there. Runners J and K here in a clear purple and a light gray, respectively. And then runner L is some more parts here in clear purple, the new part for the visor and the new part for that knife blade that will attach into the back of the triple jointed wrist. Lastly, here in a gunmetal color plastic is going to be our rifle parts. This is from runner MW37 from the, like I said, MSG or Modeling Support Goods line of option weapons. So this is a weapon that you can get on its own. Although the standard MSG release of this, I don't believe is in metallic. I think it's just in like a dark gray color, if I remember correctly. But that's it for the runners. Let's go ahead and check out the kit. All right, here we've got Penetrator all built up. Like I said, love the kind of more militaristic looking style of this one. It could just be like the color scheme, also the fact that she's got that mask and visor and then the weapons included that we have here as well. Definitely has like a little bit different vibe to it from what we've seen from some of the other releases. And that's one thing that is great about these releases is they all kind of have a little bit different style to them. And this one I think is definitely one that you guys might find appealing. But as the series goes, like generally, if you guys have seen any of my past videos on this series, now that we're a few releases deep in terms of the kits that I've reviewed from this series. I always got to remind you guys how awesome I find this series and how much I recommend it for you guys. If you've not built anything from the Megalomaria series yet, you definitely have to check it out. But let's go ahead and get into this one a little bit more with the included accessories here. First of all, we do have a couple of options for the face, although not really, as this is the face that you're supposed to use. You do have another one of just like the original mask parts, like here in green, and then you've got another one here as well with the clear eye parts in there. And these are the ones that you can move. You can see that little like a plus sign there in the back, sort of like a Phillips head screwdriver. You could use a screwdriver, but you're meant to use just the back end of this knife here. So while we're here, I guess we'll do a quick detour. This is one of our weapon options that's been a constant with this series. I think it has this little connection piece here that you can plug in to store that on the kit, just plugged on there when not in use. But this part here works as like a little piece here to basically move the position of the eyes around. Now there's two different options that you have for the eyes. The ones that I have in there are just perfectly round, but you do have another set that have like a little circle on the inside, which sort of looks like it could be like a pupil or whatever that you might want to have like pointing, looking off in one particular direction. So while we do have a couple of sort of options for the face, it's not really much that you're going to use. You also have this part here where we have those like gray hair parts. Instead of those, you have this part here, which is also just reused from the original principal kit. That's again just not really going to be used for this. Next up, we've got our hand option parts. So we've got a set of closed fists there on the kit. Aside from that, we've got these open hands. These are the only open hands that we have for the kit, these kind of angry open hands. We've got these finger pointing hands here for the left and the right side as well. We've also got these two kind of thumbs up hands. I'm not exactly entirely sure what they're for, because it's not exactly the right pose for just like doing a thumbs up. You'd think the thumb would be more pointed up. So I think these are for something, although I can't really quite figure it out. And then two different types of holding hands here. We have these for the left and the right side. The handle size, like inside the hand, is going to be the same, but one's at a little bit more of an angle. You can see that this one's more for like a straight on to the wrist angle, and this one's at a little bit of an angle here, which would be good for holding like rifle type accessories, which we do have and we'll get to here in a second. But for some options for the body, this back piece right here, you can swap that out for this one, which obviously has a hard point there. It would be useful for plugging this onto an action base, which we unfortunately do not have any sort of base included. Also for this like butt plate here, that's just one single piece, but you do have the options to make that as just two separate pieces here, and that way they can move individually, which I kind of prefer. For the wrist joint, this is our triple jointed wrist, which is awesome, but if you did want just a regular sort of single jointed wrist, you can opt for swapping that out for this piece here, which might be kind of cool if you wanted to go for like an asymmetrical look. Leave the triple jointed wrist on one side and then make the other side just a single joint. Down here on the legs, this little hexagonal little cap piece right here can be replaced with this one, which just has this little like hook detail bit on the side of there. But if you just remove that piece entirely, you've got another hard point right there on the side of the thigh that you could plug another armor or weapon or whatever you want onto the side of there. And for doing that, you do have a couple of these connection pieces that you can use for attaching different stuff onto the kit here. Like I said, if you wanted to attach something like an additional accessory onto the side of there, you can use these adapter pieces there. And then getting into the weaponry, aside from the knife that you saw previously, we do also have this clear purple knife part that's meant to go in the back side of the triple jointed wrist there, like that. It can be used like so. Pretty cool. And then we've got our rifle, which is just a set of MSG option parts. So you do have a couple of options for this. For the camera part on the top or the sight, you can remove that and swap it out for this scope like so, if you wanted that. And then this barrel part too, we can also switch. You can remove that and put on this part and this part here like that, into making into this longer barrel, sort of like a handheld little Gatling gun rifle sort of thing anyway, something like that. Pretty cool. And then we've got two of these additional ammo clips here, which can just be plugged onto the kit, onto any of the hard points on there. So just as some extra accessories, that's it. As for the main kit, basically everything is exactly the same like what we've seen with past versions, like with the principal, like with the novice. Basically we have tons of points of articulation, and that you can get these kits into pretty much any pose that you could possibly think of. The articulation on these is pretty insane, and so they're a lot of fun to pose. And the nice thing is that as you're moving stuff around, you're noticing like things aren't like falling off the kit, or you're not having like any loose parts. And because the kit is very light, it holds the pose very easily. The only thing is that I wish that these included bases, something like the Frame Arms Girl or Megami Device style. Just a simple base like that would be pretty awesome. But if you got an extra base from one of those other series like Frame Arms Girl or Megami Device or Sosai Shoujo Teian, that all kind of come with similar bases. If you got one that you're not using, you can of course use with this. Alternatively, if you wanted to use just like a simple Bandai action base, which is what I'm going to use with this one, that will also work because it just uses the same 3mm hard point there on the backside of the kit to plug into there. So certainly an easy fix for that. Otherwise, as I said before, these kits are a lot of fun, really easy to pose, really fun to pose, especially even if you wanted to use something like this for like a drawing reference, if you're into illustration and you just wanted to use this essentially as something like a 3D model that you can refer to for drawing your characters in different poses and things like that. I mean, it's a kind of niche use for something like this, I feel like, but it could certainly be good for that just because of how posable they are. Definitely, I feel like more posable and more lifelike compared to even some of like the different like drawing posable statues that you can get. It's meant to be like for drawing reference. But anyway, cool weapons and accessories with this one, having the MSG option part. That is, of course, as I said, something that you can get separately. So if you wanted that weapon with any of the different kits, you can just get that as just a separate MSG option set. It's probably not anything more than like $6-7, something like that, maybe like max. So overall, another fantastic addition to the line, to a line that I really enjoy, and I'm looking forward to checking out some more. Still got a few more in my queue that I'm going to be building up and sharing with you guys here in the near future, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed yet. If you guys want to check out some more of these kits for yourself or anything else from Kotobukiya, you can check out the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We've got lots of cool stuff there on the side. But what do you guys think about Penetrator here? Do you have a favorite in the line so far? I'm not sure. I'm still kind of partial, I think, a bit to just the first one, to the Principal one was really nice. I don't know, the Novice was a lot of fun too, but I'm looking forward to checking out the Seeker, as that one has a pretty unique style to it, and they've got more on the way that do look pretty cool. I'm actually looking forward to the Green Glass release, as well as that one just kind of mixes a lot more stuff in there, some hair parts, more sort of like something from a Sosai Shoujo Teian kit, and then some more MSG option parts. That one I do also have here in the queue, so I'll be reviewing that one in the future as well. So stay tuned for that. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. Thank you so much for all of your support. Until next time, hope you all are having a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.